What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another Pay-Per-Viewpoint edition of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast. This is the WWE Elimination Chamber 2017 post-show where we're going to be recapping what just transpired on the show and giving our thoughts of everything that just happened, positive, negative, somewhere in the middle, whatever the case may be. Before we get started, let me introduce to you who's going to be talking tonight. I am your host, as always, Tony Mango, and joining me on the mic is Sean Walker.
Happy song.
Happy, joy.
Happy.
Rather to sing Log today. Better song. Now I kind of want to watch Ren and Stimpy.
Never watched Ren and Stimpy.
Overrated show, I'll admit. Looking back from like my childhood, I used to like it, but I never liked it as much as like Rocco and stuff. And now it's just kind of crude. But at least I want to watch Log. Well, before we actually get started on all this, let me preface a couple things here. I sound terrible, I'm sure. My nose is fucking bugging the hell out of me. My allergies are just killing me today. I'm exhausted. I know that people are going to be looking at this and going like, oh, they're all being sour and stuff. And it's like, yeah, we're going to be a little bit sour about some of the stuff in here too. Part of it might be just my energy level is really low. Part of it's I didn't like the outcome of a couple things from tonight. But I'm going to do my best to stay as in the middle as I normally try to do. But if I don't sound too excited about the things that I'm happy about, it's because I'm fucking exhausted, so shut up. Sean, in general, what did you think about Elimination Chamber? Was this like a thing where you left feeling more positive, more negative? Did it not make a difference whatsoever?
Indifferent. That's all I can say. We knew this was going to happen. We knew the outcome of the chamber before I even fucking started.
Yeah.
Some of the matches were subpar. The first half of the chamber, the fucking pay-per-view itself, the first half of the pay-per-view itself, I tuned out for completely. I only tuned in halfway through the Luke Harper Randy Orton match. That's when I started going, oh, okay, this has piqued my interest. Otherwise, I was doing other things in the background.
I kind of look at this event as skippable, in a way.
Yeah.
There's 2 title changes, and everything else you didn't need to see. And really, you didn't even need to see the title changes because one of them we knew was going to happen, and the other one is like, wow, I'm really surprised about that, but at the same time, does anybody really care? That kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But let's start with the beginning of the night, the kickoff. I think this was one of the worst kickoffs we've seen in a long time. Nothing on this was interesting. Sam Roberts as a guest, pointless. I mean, he's not a bad guy or whatever like that, but he didn't attribute anything interesting to the table. Carmella shows up, and she doesn't really do anything, which that's actually a recurring theme throughout the night, was Carmella having a segment where she really doesn't say anything. And I hated those. All that shit with James Ellsworth.
Yep.
Those were awful. We got a kickoff match with Mojo Rawley and Curt Hawkins, which was just not good. Hawkins at one point is getting ready to throw Mojo Rawley into the barricade, but he doesn't realize that there's somebody like a cameraman there, so he just kind of awkwardly pushes him into the ring. That was just kind of... Nobody cares to begin with. And I liked the idea that we're going to do this match, because I'd rather see a match than to just see another backstage promo. And this should be a feud, but they have nothing building towards it. And then they didn't even have a good match as far as like, well, who cares about the feud, but maybe they'll go on and put on a good performance. It was just entirely skippable.
It was so skippable, in fact, that I didn't even watch it.
Well, you didn't miss anything. Like, nobody is going to go looking at this and go like, oh man, I wish I would have seen that. Not at all. So it was a full hour of just sort of like, man, I wish I would have gotten another hour's worth of sleep, sort of. So I'm a little disappointed with that. The first match of the night itself on the regular card was Becky Lynch against Mickie James. It was fine. I thought it was going to be better than what it was, so I'm a little bit underwhelmed, but I don't have anything really positive to say about it, or anything really negative to say about it. It's just one of those things where it's like, it is what it was.
Becky's new ring gear is pretty good.
Oh, they both looked great. They're both great wrestlers. They both know what they're doing. Like, this is kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, it was fine, and I can't really complain, but I can't go, oh, because it was it was so great because of this and that and that and that. Nothing stood out. So it's like, well, I'll give him a pat on the back and be like, nice job. But I'm not going to remember it in a month, you know?
No, it just felt like a SmackDown match.
Yeah, basically. This could have been a SmackDown main event, and it would have been, like, fine for a SmackDown main event.
Yep.
Actually, I forgot about one thing on the kickoff that was good. Although it's not a good thing. It wasn't planned or anything like that. JBL was doing that Texas two-step that he does, and he fell. And Booker T thought it was the funniest fucking thing in the world. He laughed for, like, a solid 5 minutes. So if that's the best thing on your kickoff, that's not really all that great. But the Becky Lynch, Mickie James match, it was fine. And I was thinking to myself, well, if that's going to be one of the highlights, that's going to be a really terrible pay-per-view. And it wasn't one of the highlights, I don't think. But it wasn't one of the low points either. We had better stuff and we had worse stuff.
Yep.
And one of the worst things, the 2-on-1 handicap match that followed that up. Ziggler versus Apollo Crews and Kalisto. They started off with Ziggler attacking Kalisto. Now, I understand what they're going for. They're going to take him out of the mix. It makes sense for Ziggler to not want to wrestle a 2-on-1 match because he's the heel, etc., etc.
Yep.
The way he took him out was so weak that I didn't buy it. Even worse, they follow the action up with basically Apollo Crews in a headlock for most of the match. Boring as all hell. Kalisto comes out. He's acting like he got thrown through the fucking ringer. And that, like, he was beaten half to death when he really wasn't. And then they're like, no, go back. You're not clear to compete or whatever. And he wins the match. Ziggler beats him up afterward. You know, hits him with a chair and stuff like that and leaves. Which means we did exactly the same as what we've been seeing every single week on SmackDown. Every promo and every segment that they've had together has been Ziggler either beating or losing one of those two, flipping out after the match, hitting them with chairs. The other one tries to come like to make the save, and Ziggler basically like walks away. There's no change in this feud whatsoever from what happened tonight.
Well, Apollo Crews might have a broken ankle, quotation marks, because of what Ziggler did after the match. But other than that, yeah, it was awkward seeing Kalisto walk down the ramp. It was like he got hit by a fucking bus.
And it was like he very faintly threw you into the set.
Yep.
So that's actually a theme that I thought going into this, or not going into this, leaving this pay-per-view was, the thing that we had going on before is still just going on. Like, there's no resolution from Becky Lynch and Mickie James.
Nope.
There's no different things with the 2-on-1 handicap match.
Nope.
The Nikki Bella Natalya feud, skipping ahead to that, is exactly leaving off in the same exact position that it was before. The tag title situation is still basically what it was before on this Tuesday night.
Yep.
The Alexa Bliss Naomi stuff, it's changing the title situation changed, but you're going to see Alexa Bliss versus Naomi again. And then the main event, you're going to see John Cena fighting, challenging for the championship. And it's like, the whole pay-per-view kind of boils down to another episode of SmackDown, which is
pretty much
disappointing. What did you think about the actual in-ring quality of that handicap match, though? I hated the whole headlock thing. That just killed the energy for me.
I was so invested into it. I was going through my YouTube subscriptions and cancelling some of them. Unsubscribing from some people. That's what I was doing during this entire match.
It's probably
that's how much you keep my interest. Yeah. Getting rid of all the dead weight.
Now, at the very least, the next match was fun. The tag team turmoil match. I liked that match quite a bit.
I had problems with it.
What did you not like about it?
The fact that American Alphas won.
See, I was hoping that they would win.
Well, I wanted them to win, but like the way they won, it was like they got their ass fucking handed to them by the Usos.
Well, that was another running theme too. It was just like, let's have somebody lose and then beat the person down. Happened with Ziggler, happened with the Usos, happened with Corbin, happened with Natalya. essentially. I was okay with it, though. I mean, I wanted American Alpha to win. I kind of like the idea that maybe they're going to give the Ascension a little bit of a boost now. Breezango had a little fun segment at the beginning of it. That whole thing with Fandango, kind of like gyrating instead of falling backward and then throwing the fucking tickets down. I thought that was pretty funny. Vaudevillains didn't really look that bad, considering what I thought was going to happen. I figured that Simon Gotch would get eliminated super quick.
How pissed are you that Simon Gotch didn't get the fucking pin?
The other things bugged me a lot more. Because I like Simon Gotch. I don't want them to punish him and all that. So maybe this is a good turnaround. Maybe they're not going to punish him anymore. It was happening, though. It's not just me. It was happening. But Slater and Rhino used to be the champions, and it was like it made sense for them to beat Breezango and Vaudevillains. They're the lowest ranked out of the bunch, so they looked okay. The Usos beat Slater and Rhino. Usos looked pretty decent that way. American Alpha beats the next two teams. Ascension, at the end, they end up not looking that bad. I think.
Oh, no. This makes the Ascension look weak as fuck.
You think?
In my opinion, yeah. They couldn't beat a broken down, dead and out American Alpha. They were just laid there for the picking,
They didn't, lose, though. I mean, what's his name? Connor was going to break up the pin, and Jordan just got into the way. So it's like, they didn't, the two of them just get knocked out or anything,
Yeah. I don't know. It just left a sour taste in my mouth.
I thought it was one of the better matches of the night. I enjoyed it a lot. Although I'm really curious to see where they go from here, because if they do keep the Ascension going towards that higher ranking, I'm interested. I don't want to see them win the titles though. And I'm still kind of hoping that we can see the Revival pop up sooner than later. Yeah. So if the Ascension is just a feud for American Alpha in the meantime, cool. If they win the titles, we'll see. And if they don't, you need to boost somebody else up, I think, at this point. Then I was disappointed with that Nikki Bella and Natalya match. I thought that the double count out was kind of lame. And even more so, later on in the night, after the Harper Randy Orton match, they do another Renee Young interviews Nikki Bella, and then Natalya attacks her backstage thing, which we've seen every week now.
Yep.
So why continue the feud? If all you're going to do is do the exact same feud week in and week out, I'm not going to care anymore. It's just a matter of, I need some twists and turns. All right, let me put it this way. I like the James Bond series. One of my favorite series. But I'll fully admit, not every James Bond movie is good. The majority of them are kind of shitty.
Yep.
Now, you give me GoldenEye, amazing movie. Of course, it's not going to win a Best Picture type of a thing, but that's not what we're going for. You follow it up with Tomorrow Never Dies? Well, they did some things that are different. It's not as good, whatever. World's Not Enough? Well, they're kind of going into a shitty direction, but they changed some things up, whatever. They continue to have some of the same formulas, but they change things also. So if every movie was exactly the same and every movie was Dr. No, I would hate the movies because I hate Dr. No. But From Russia with Love comes along, changes the game a little bit. They get into the different rhythm, that kind of a thing. That's how feuds, I think, should go. You can keep the same feud going for a while, and you can do some of the same elements, but you need to change something up to keep me interested. Nikki Bella and Natalya, from day one, has been Natalya attacks Nikki. They bitch and complain to each other. Then Natalya attacks Nikki. It started with Survivor Series with Natalya attacking Nikki. Then it became her jumping her, throughout matches and stuff. And then the latest trend has just been backstage things, or talking smack and all that. I don't care anymore. I wanted this to be the end of it. I wanted them to move on to other things. And now it's obvious that they're going to continue it at least until WrestleMania. And you better not have a match at WrestleMania. Maybe there's going to be a multi-women match. I don't know. But I don't care. I'm fine with them just skipping a resolution to this,
As one who was really into this feud at the beginning of the week, expecting Nikki to actually like win and be done with this feud. Now that it ended in a double count out, I'm like, oh great, we gotta put up with this shit for another month. I'm with you. I don't want to see this on WrestleMania. God no.
And it almost seems like it would be more obvious to lead to Nikki Bella and John Cena against Natalya and Tyson Kidd at WrestleMania than the Miz thing, right?
Yeah. Like, I watched this with other means, and during the chat in the other means as I was watching it, somebody brought up a good point that the way this ended in a draw makes it so we don't get a Miz Maurice mixed tag match with John Cena and Nikki Bella at WrestleMania. I'm like, that would have been cool to watch Maurice get back in the ring. I would have been down with that. But
I'm
now,
assuming we're still getting that.
Now this whole Natalya thing needs to be put away. Hopefully it'll end this week on SmackDown. Who knows?
I still think we're getting that John Cena match because they had that backstage segment with the brawl and all that, and they bump into Maurice and get powder all over her. And I'm like, if that's going to be the catalyst for that feud, where it's just going to be like, I need to fight you because you spilled some powder on me backstage, you can't do better than that. You need to hire some new fucking writers.
Yeah.
Maurice has been in the company since WrestleMania last year and has not wrestled a single match. If she comes back just because somebody put powder on her, holy shit, you know? And the running theme for this WrestleMania this year, which bugs me about, and that's why I'm not really happy about the way that things are going, is it seems like they're making these weird decisions that maybe some people are going to enjoy. And, you know, there's an audience for everybody. Some people are going to really, really be behind seeing Brock Lesnar win every single match in 5 seconds. Some people, like myself, are like, well, I'd rather actually see a match than to see all this build up for a 20-second squash. When it comes to some of the choices they're making for WrestleMania this year, I can't help but feel like they're really getting lazy about it. Like, they just look at it, and I'm going to be saying this next couple of weeks when we do the Fastlane thing. Did they really need to put the title on Goldberg and Lesnar just because they're the two bigger names? It seems like they're going to go like, yeah, just do it, you know. And if this is leading to the Maurice match, it's like, well, how do we get them to feud with each other? I don't know. She bumps into her. Really? Like, and then John Cena's just going to come out and go like, hey, Miz, you can't talk trash about her after they do some kind of Miz TV segment with her or whatever. And I'm hesitant to say that it's a guarantee, but because I guarantee that Simon Gotch will get pinned first is totally not true. But I think that what they're going to go with here, if I would look at the way that they tend to do some things here and there, we're going to get Nikki Bella versus Natalya once or twice over the next few weeks leading up to WrestleMania because they don't want Maurice to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they do want to do that Maurice and Miz versus Cena Nikki match. So instead they have Nikki beat Natalya to give her momentum leading into the Maurice match. So it's like, well, let's keep this going because we have 5-6 more weeks, you know? That is like, well, let's continue a feud that should have ended because we don't want to do the other thing. And, you know, if you have to backtrack and stall because the idea you had to begin with is something that you can't do without doing something that's kind of meh, maybe just don't do that other thing if it's not worth it, you know? I like Nikki Bella, I like John Cena, I like The Miz, and I like Maurice, but that doesn't feel like it's worth a WrestleMania match to me. I think that all of those people could be doing better.
I just don't like mixed tag matches.
They're not the most fun in the world.
Like, I'd be happy with having a Miz John Cena match and a Maurice versus Nikki match on the card. Just don't do a mixed tag match. Like, you know, John Cena did eliminate the Miz in the Chamber, so that's that feud set in stone up until WrestleMania. That'd be good.
And then that also means we're probably going to get that Styles Shane McMahon match, which I just do not understand why that's in the cards, but Well, let's move on to Luke Harper versus Randy Orton. Good match, I thought. One of the better ones of the night.
This is a great match. This actually re-piqued my interest of somewhat from unsubscribing from stuff on YouTube. And I thoroughly enjoyed this match. Halfway through, I was like, damn, Luke Harper can wrestle. Damn, Luke Harper's going bald. Damn, Luke Harper needs the haircut.
I do still hope that they give him some kind of change. Because when he's coming out, I'm thinking that he's still a member of the Wyatt family. And for now, it's okay because he used to be in the Wyatt family and they're still feuding and all that. After WrestleMania, he needs a change.
Oh, man, can you imagine after WrestleMania he comes out clean shaven? Decent haircut.
Yeah, like, why not, you know?
And in a suit, and he'd be like, yeah, this is Luke.
Is this a Lucas Harper?
This is what I was like before Bray Wyatt brainwashed me.
He's like, I went to the laundromat, washed my shirt. Everything's amazing now.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like the match. I thought it was one of the better ones of the night, and I'll give him credit. I thought this was going to be essentially just for Randy Orton to win, and he did win, but he should have because he's the one going into WrestleMania. But they gave Harper quite a bit of offense. So I'm glad that they were able to get him to actually have like a good match with him and not just being a way to put Orton over.
Are you still shocked by how quick Luke Harper can actually move?
Yeah, like, he's huge.
Like, I'm surprised this guy can do fucking somersaults and shit. It's great. For the size he is, like, Jesus.
Yeah,
if he lariats and whatever.
If he was better on the mic, they probably would have given him closer to a main event role. Kind of like what's happened with Braun Strowman a little bit.
I still reckon the best thing that he's ever done is that IC title feud with Dolph Ziggler back in the day.
I still didn't think he should have won that title, though. That seemed odd. Well, I mentioned about guarantees and being shocked with, like, Simon Gotch. Another thing I gotta admit, totally wrong about, Naomi wins the title. She beats Alexa Bliss. Did not see that coming.
Neither did I.
I'm okay with it. Because I think that Naomi should have won that title a long time ago. But I admit, disappointed that Alexa Bliss isn't champion anymore. I really liked her work. I think that she's more entertaining than Naomi is right now. But it's kind of like you take the good with the bad. Like, I can't really complain. It was a good match. I like Naomi. I'm interested to see where they go from here. Like, is this going to be Naomi versus Mickie James at WrestleMania? Is it going to be Alexa, Naomi, Mickie, Becky, like some big scramble kind of a thing? Is it going to be Tamina comes back? Because she's supposed to be cleared soon. Is she going to wrestle Naomi? They've got familial ties. You know, there's a couple different things that they could do, and I'm pretty interested in that. Sad for Alexa, but, you know, she had a decent title reign.
Mm-hmm. Better than what I was expecting it to be fair.
I didn't think she would win the title originally. I thought that was going to happen, like, SummerSlam time. I thought
later down the line, yeah, so did I, because I thought she was still a bit too green, but she proved me wrong.
I've been a fan of her for a long time, and when they put her onto the SmackDown roster, I was like, oh man, she could have a real good upside in a couple months when they start realizing how good she could be. And they actually gave her the ball a lot sooner than I expected, and she did a damn good job as champion. So if Naomi could do the same thing, cool. If Naomi sucks, then, you know, she has a transitional title reign. It's like, it's not the end of the world. But I liked the match. I thought it was cool.
At least the women on SmackDown are actually getting a chance to hold this belt.
Right. Instead of it just being Charlotte.
Yeah.
The SmackDown women's roster is so much better than the Raws. It's not even comparable to me anymore. I really like Bayley. I really like Sasha. And I think that there's a lot of upsides to Charlotte, but she's just overrated. Nia Jax, I still don't like at all. And then you have who? Like, Emma's still not in the mix.
And Dana Brooke, who's...
Where the fuck has Dana been?
Injured. And Summer Rae, I think, is on Raw, or she's SmackDown.
Summer Rae's injured, but she's on Raw. Alicia Fox spends all of her time on 205 Live. Mm-hmm. Paige is out doing God knows what.
Alberto Del Rio.
Ugh. prepping for that movie that's going to be made about her. Like, I don't want to see a movie about Paige. I'll watch it maybe, but I want to see that Benoit movie more. Like, Paige's story is like, what is it going to be? The story of how you're a brat? Overall, this was one of those things where it's like, I can say that it's a highlight, Naomi winning the belt, but at the same time, I don't want to say that it was like, oh man, this was so fantastic, because it was like, it was a good match, and the outcome's like I said, you take the good with the bad. So overall, it ends up being a positive, but I'm going to have to look back on it in a few months to see whether or not I actually like that they did this. Like, if Naomi doesn't end up being a good champion, I'm going to look back and go, they should have just kept it on Alexa.
I think this is just a transitional phase thing. Like, she's just going to hold us the belt until WrestleMania, and then she's going to lose it the pay-per-view after it. Give the home crowd something to cheer about with the home girl holding the belt.
Yeah. She did say something about bringing it home.
Mm-hmm. She is from Florida after all. So. Yeah.
That could be, like, you know, and it's like I said, I mean, Naomi has been in this company for 6 years now, a little bit more than 6.5 or so. She should have won that title at some point in the past. So now that she finally fucking won it, good for her. It was good to see that the crowd was chanting "You deserve it" afterward too. That was fun. It
made her cry.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's always nice to see somebody who gets emotional about that, because she did deserve it. What were we on? We're on the final part of the night. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Threw me off there that I had an extra note, but it was the Carmella James Ellsworth thing again.
Ugh.
Awful fucking segments. Terrible. Now, the Elimination Chamber match. Yeah, I do not like Bray Wyatt being the champion. You guys have known about this for weeks now. Ever since Randy Orton won the Royal Rumble, I've been saying Bray Wyatt's winning the Elimination Chamber, and I don't like the idea, and I'm not going to like the idea, and I'm not going to like the idea at WrestleMania either, and I'm probably not going to like the idea after WrestleMania. Like, you're just going to have to deal with me not liking this for the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever case may be. I will admit, though, as much as I don't like the outcome, I enjoyed everything leading up to the outcome, which is the same exact thing as the Royal Rumble. I was enjoying the Royal Rumble match all the way up until the Final Four, where Jericho was eliminated, and then it became like, okay, Orton's going to win. This was a fun Elimination Chamber match all the way until it was like, damn it, all right, well, John Cena's out, so clearly Bray Wyatt's going to win. I was rooting for AJ Styles at the last minute, though, man. I was just like, dude, I'd much rather see Styles versus Orton.
Yep, I was the same.
I liked quite a bit about it, though. I thought that it was fun to see that little segment where Baron Corbin was kind of going crazy and The Miz didn't want to get out of his pod. I liked that Ambrose got beaten up by Corbin, and they can kind of tie that in together for the Intercontinental Championship match. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do John Cena versus The Miz, it's a good idea to have John Cena pin The Miz. I don't want them to do that match, but like, if you told me it was mandatory, I would have booked John Cena eliminating The Miz.
I would have had The Miz eliminate John Cena.
Well, I also kind of like the idea that John Cena was eliminated second to last and not last. Because that was like, I expected it to be John Cena, Bray Wyatt in the end. And they kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. So I like the match. I mean, the only complaint that I have is the outcome of it. I just don't really want to see Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton for the title. If it would have been a mid-card feud match, it would have been fine, and I would have been totally down for it. But I don't think it's worthy of the title at the same time. So that is just like confirmation of something that I don't really like all that much. What did you think about the new chamber?
Didn't like it. It was too square for my liking, and I don't like the LED lights on top of the structure, and I don't like the padding. I miss my grate. Don't like the padding on the outside.
You didn't think that the padding was also great?
No. I don't know who thought of that, but...
Well, I'll agree with you on the padding being a little bit underwhelming, because that does take away some of that whole, like, oh man, that's so brutal. They're throwing them onto that hard steel and all that. But I understand why they would do that, because that's probably leading to so many injuries, and they really have to be playing these injuries, for like the future. They can't really have the same flexibility as they used to. Too many people are getting injured nowadays. But I think that the rest of it looks great. I actually like the squared off edge to it, and I like the little LED lights at the top. I thought that looked a lot better than what it used to be.
I like the glass above the pods. I thought that was a good feature.
And the door opening up from the side type of thing.
Yeah.
I like the look of this. I think it, as much as the padding takes away, I don't think it kills the gimmick. Because it's still like, you gotta wait. It's kind of like that Royal Rumble type of thing where it's like, it's still, who's gonna come out next? Oh, that guy came out, like that kind of a thing. So I'm cool with it. I mean, it's not gonna really hurt it all that much. It's not like the Hell in a Cell where they went from crazy spots to, yeah, you can't do that anymore, and then it becomes, well, then what's the Hell in a Cell for?
Yeah. You know? They were still throwing each other into the glass pods and into the chain and shit. Off, yeah. I'm kind of disappointed that AJ didn't actually climb into the middle of the structure like he would have done in his like
the asylum thing.
Yeah.
Was that the name of it? The asylum?
Yeah, the asylum. Yeah.
With that red cage.
Yeah, we had to climb for the hole. Yeah.
TNA with its weird fucking gimmicks.
It was a good match though. I like the asylum match.
So when it comes to the highlights and low points, what was your favorite part and your least favorite part of the night?
The Miz, by far, was my highlight. The way he was taking the piss out of Daniel Bryan and everything, from his like fucking kicks to the drop kicks in the ring. Kind of disappointed that he never landed the headbutt though. That would have been cool to see. Low points. Bray Wyatt winning the title. The draw between Nikki and Natalya. The way American Alpha turned into Superman. And James Ellsworth and Carmella and the KFC advert again.
Ugh, man. I don't know what's going on with the KFC stuff, but they went from really funny and like interesting to just cringeworthy.
Oh, and the SmackDown commentators, they all need to go.
Everybody I was watching it with tonight was saying that the SmackDown commentary team was awful.
Apart from JBL.
I like Tom Phillips a lot. I think he's got a lot of an upside to him.
He doesn't say a lot. That's the only problem with Tom. He needs to say more.
Well, you got a 4-man team. It's hard for him to kind of...
Oh, Tunga needs to go.
Yeah, he needs to go immediately. He's been needed to go for months. Actually, he never should have been put on there. They should have tested him out and been like, nah, he sucks.
And the other guy needs to go. There's too many Mamma Mias.
Yeah, I don't like Mauro Ranallo as much as most people do, no. You give me Corey Graves and Tom Phillips together, they're my favorite pairing out of everybody in the company today.
Man, they were so good down in NXT.
Did you watch this week's NXT where they got Nigel and Percy Watson and Tom Phillips together?
I have not, no. Is that any good?
No. Because Nigel still doesn't know what to do and Percy Watson still barely talks. So it's like Tom Phillips is basically sitting there going like, hey guys, we should talk about whatever. And then Nigel's like, yeah, whatever is a thing. And then Percy will go, yep. It's just not a good team.
It's still better than Mamma Mia.
Oh my God, AJ Styles. It's like...
I felt like I was listening to the Mexican bloody commentary team. You know, it's I wonder if I can find a Spanish stream for the next one.
I'd rather watch the German one. The Germans, they keep changing those guys. Karsten Schaefer, I think, was the guy before. Now it's like Tim something or whatever, and they got a revolving door of those. Like either they must be terrible or I don't know. But
you know what? I'll take the Japanese. There you go.
Funaki.
Funaki.
No, is it Funaki? No, it's yeah, it
is Funaki. Yep, Funaki. He's the number one announcer, man.
Who's the other guy? I can't think of the other guy now.
Funaki Light.
It's gonna bug me until I look it up.
Hideo Tommy.
He's supposed to be coming back soon, but not in that capacity. It is. Let's see. All right. Japanese announced team is Funaki and Shun Yamaguchi.
That's the one. Tamagotchi.
Oh, there goes our Japanese market. Yeah, I got the notes right down for the German team. We've had Karsten Schaefer, Sebastian Hackel, I'm probably butchering these names, Holger Boschen, Manu Thiel, Calvin Nee, and Tim Haber. It's like they've gone through 6 people on the German announced team, yet we've had Carlos Cabrera and Marcelo Rodriguez for how many years on the Spanish announced team? Like, insane.
Mm-hmm. And we still got David Otunga.
Ugh, yeah. They need to figure out another country to send him to so we don't listen to it anymore. He could be like the New Zealand team or something. As far as my highlights and low points of the night, I'd probably say my favorite part of the whole night was maybe the Luke Harper-Randy Orton match. I like that quite a bit. And if I got to go, my biggest negative, I mean, it's tough. I don't want to be the obvious person and say the Bray Wyatt thing, because even though I do have my problems with that, in the grand scheme of things, that's like a longer issue. But for the night itself, the bigger problem was those Carmella and James Ellsworth things. Those just were awful. That should probably do us in for this whole pay-per-view. I want to know what you guys have to say about whatever it is. If you agree, if you disagree, leave your comments below and tell me what you think. Did this make you feel more excited or less excited heading into WrestleMania? Because that's actually what it's supposed to do. For myself, I'm about the same. It confirmed a bunch of things that I was really hoping that they'd go a different direction for. So I'm not, like, more disappointed, but I'm certainly not happier about it, you know?
Yeah.
Still the same shit.
Yep.
So I'm as lukewarm as I was before. But if you leave your comments below and you tell me what you think, maybe we'll have some discussion if you could try to change my mind about it, whatever. My mind's open enough that maybe you can convince me otherwise. And if you follow us on Facebook and Twitter and you hit that little subscribe button if you haven't already, about the little bell notification thing and all that other kind of stuff, then you'll be aware of all the other things that are going to be coming up over the next week or so. We've got, I think this week's going to be the mailbag. So that another thing for you guys to take part of outside of leaving your comments is to send in your mailbag questions as soon as possible. I don't know if we're going to do that Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday, but one of those days we're going to do that. Got obviously the hot tags and the Ask Him coming up. And then a week after that, I'm not too sure what we're going to be doing. So if you have any ideas to pitch, send them my way. Maybe I'll do some kind of a big, like, WrestleMania thing, or, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But, Sean, anything you want to promote?
Follow me on the Twitter at iSwipeRight. I'll be changing it after the mailbag, so tune in for that to see what I'll change it to this week. And yeah, that's about it. You can follow me on Twitch if you want. That's still the same. That's twitch.tv/Shaughnessy1989. And yeah, I might be back into streaming. Who knows? Who knows at this fucking point? I got a broken foot, so
Well, my plugs are already out of the mix for Smark Out Moment, but if you guys want to follow fanboysanonymous.com, go to that website. We have a new contest up right now. If you're interested in the new Wolverine movie, Logan, then you can win a hoodie. That basically is like the costume hoodie. So all you got to do for that is click the little gleam.io module that's in that page. You can get points and entry for everything from following the Facebook account, which if you're already following it, then, you know, you should already just get that point automatically, and liking stuff on Facebook and all that other kind of stuff like that. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and click on that. And if you have not entered the contest yet for the Road to WrestleMania giveaway, where it's the 3 Funko Pops, that's still going on for at least another week or so, maybe even longer. I kind of don't remember. I think it might be like 15 days left or something, actually. So keep that in mind. And if you want to follow myself personally, it's at Tony Mango, spelled out. You'll find links all over the place and all that stuff. So I want to thank everybody for listening for this. And yeah, that's it. I can't think of anything else that we need to take care of. Can you?
We can take care of Roman Reigns and give him some lupus.
That's the opposite of taking care of him. Unless you're looking at it from the mafia kind of side of things. Take care.
Yep. Take care, yep.
Spike your hair. All right, guys, that's it. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.